welcome back to another episode of Speak Up for Blue TV, where you get the latest, greatest, and not so greatest ocean news happening around the world today. And you get my take on things. And who am I? I'm Andrew Lewin, founder of SpeakUpForBlue.com, a website dedicated to supporting the ocean conservation movement through awareness, education, and action. Welcome to the Monday show. I hope you had a great weekend, as I know I did. And so we got lots to talk about today, so let's get started. Our first story is all about whale sharks. And the reason why I want to talk about whale sharks today is I've noticed on Facebook and other social networks that whale sharks have been in the news a lot, and not a good thing. Usually whale sharks are in the news for, scuba diving, and people have seen a whale shark out of the blue and things like that, and it's been great. But this time, I've been seeing a few news pieces where whale sharks have been caught or found dead and been strung up by cranes, and people come watch it. And a recent story out of Pakistan said that a whale was found on a beach dead, and the fishermen took it in and decided to hang it up on cranes. And actually, at one point, one of the fishermen, the person who bought it from the fishermen, paid about $2,000 US, decided that he was going to charge people to come view it. And I mean, if you think about it, if I were near a dock and I saw a whale shark that was on the dock, I would really like to see it. I mean, I'd rather see it alive, but it would be really cool to see. However, the cops didn't allow him to do this. They said it's just a fish. People should be able to see it no matter what. There's a big hoopla about it. But anyway, the fact of the matter is more and more I find more and more whale sharks being found dead, or being caught and finned, or being caught for their meat and things like that. And it's just horrible. So my question that I thought to myself was, are whale sharks being fished more now than they have been before? So I went to a website called whalesharkproject.org, and the link is just below in the description. And it's a website that was created by the Shark Alliance and the Paddy Foundation, or the Paddy Foundation wing called Project Aware. And the website actually states that whale shark catches have actually decreased in India, or probably close to where the whale shark was found, and Taiwan and the Philippines, where a lot of the shark catches actually occur. So, the upside about it is, yes, whale sharks have been actually fished less, and it's just maybe more media coverage that we see, or more media coverage on YouTube and things like that we see. But the downside is maybe the reason why they're not caught as much is the effort's probably still there by the fishermen, but there's just not as many whale sharks in the area because they've been fished so bad. And I mean, really, when it comes down to it, is in any kind of fishery, when you get a large animal that has a long lifespan and only reproduces maybe once a year or twice a year with one or two individuals per year, you don't have a lot of time to replenish. They don't have a lot of time to replenish. So if a fish is caught, if a large whale shark is caught, that takes that one large whale shark out of the population. And if you catch 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, that means more are coming out and less are actually growing up. I mean, it has to do with any type of fishery. So it's something to look out for. And really the point of this story is that more research needs to be done on whale sharks. We don't know much about their biology, their ecology, their behavior. We know nothing about them. And until we know more about them and know how many are actually out there and where the populations are and things like that, we should probably be more on the cautious side and not fish them every day without any kind of regulations. And we need to know more about them and understand more about them. But anyway, that's the story for today. Let's move on to story number 2, where we're actually going on to an interview that Wendee Holtcamp did. And Wendee Holtcamp is a marine conservation journalist she interviewed Alexandra Cousteau, one of the Cousteaus, which is always an interesting interview. And Alexandra operates a organization called the Blue Legacy. And she was asked about what it would take to create sustainable ocean fisheries around the world. And Alexandra Cousteau responded by speaking about the international coordination efforts that need to be done by countries, organizations, and fishermen around the world, and especially working with fishermen, where fishermen need to be on board to trying to use new types of nets that are probably a little wider, or new types of instruments that, such as the turtle excluder device, which actually installs in a net and actually allows sea turtles to escape the net as they're caught in a trawler, or shrimp trawler, or whatever kind of net they are. But essentially, what they're trying to do, what's necessary, is we need to increase the target population catch, but decrease the bycatch, which is really affecting the oceans and really decreasing populations around the world in the oceans. They also really need to. She mentioned that we really need to realize that people just can't fish in marine protected areas. Marine protected areas are designed for a specific reason, whether it be to preserve biodiversity or preserve fisheries in the area, especially fisheries. So when an area is protected, it means that there's an important habitat there to protect, whether it be a spawning site or a site where fish are reproduced or they're too young to fish and they shouldn't be touched. And it allows for a spillover effect to go into to go outside the borders where fishermen can catch and actually have a sustainable fishery. But what I liked, and she did mention that we're doing a miserable job so far around the world of actually stopping fishing in marine protected areas and really not working well with fishermen to use different devices. So, one of the best parts of the interview that I liked was when Wendee asked Alexandra, what can individuals do around the world? What can they do about this, and creating more sustainable fisheries? And Alexandra was pretty upright, I can't think of the word right now, but she was pretty honest, and she said basically what we need to do is we need to open our eyes to more fish that we can eat. In the United States alone, there's about 700 species of marine species that we can eat, but we don't know. They're good to eat, they're safe to eat, but we just don't know about them. We're used to eating maybe a dozen or so species, such as salmon, halibut, haddock, things like that we're used to, because we know what they look like, they're marketed, and we know that they're safe. But there's actually about 700 other species in the United States, and I'm not in the United States, but I'm in Canada. But in North America, I'm sure there's about a similar amount that we can actually really open up to. Eat more of those, take less pressure off the dozen or so species that we're eating right now, and open it up a little more so that it's the pressure spread even across all the fisheries, and maybe lessen our overall negative impact on overfishing and fishing for particular species. This leads me into our third story of the day, which is more of an awareness kind of thing, and it's what I really want to make you aware of is the Seafood Watch iPhone app, and there's also an Android app. And Seafood Watch is a program run by the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and essentially it's designed to empower people to make proper seafood choices when they're at restaurants where restaurants serve seafood or even sushi. And what it does is essentially the app tells you what fish and shrimp and invertebrates are good to eat, which ones they should avoid, and so on, so that you can actually make a good decision. So if you see a particular type of tuna that you should avoid on the menu, then you shouldn't eat that one. You should look for an alternative, maybe something else that's maybe farmed, like tilapia or something like that. That's a little better. So what's good is I suggest that you download the app, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, and actually use it. Use it when you go to restaurants. Ask the waiters, waitresses, any kind of information on it, and they should tell you. And if they don't know, then and you're not comfortable ordering seafood from them, then you should actually tell them this is why you're not ordering seafood. And on the app, there's actually an area where you can put in the restaurant in the database that will allow people to view other restaurants, to look up other restaurants where they're either ocean friendly or non-ocean friendly, and you can either go or avoid them based on whether they're ocean friendly or not. So just to let you know, a nice awareness app from Seafood Watch from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And that's the end of our show today. But before I leave, I want to leave you with a question of the day. And the question of the day is: would you use the Seafood Watch app by Monterey Bay Aquarium to make better seafood choices? Leave your your answer in the comments below. And also, don't forget, share this with your family, your friends, your social networks around the net. It's easy to share. YouTube makes it really easy to share. I make it easy to share. We want to make sure that people know what's happening around the world. So, as usual, my name is Andrew Lewin, founder speakupforblue.com. Have a nice day. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy conservation.